No, so I can be that way.
It's okay, we'll wait. All right. Well, now that we've finished up our set changes and all that sort of thing, our next performance is a dramatic piece directed by our very own Robert Cox, entitled The Cremation of Sam McGee.
Friend, it is somewhat crowded in here tonight. I would be obliged if you would allow me to share your table with you. Well, thank you. Son, you're looking a bit rough. Take a drink from my bottle. It appears that yours has gone empty. Come here for the gold, did you? Yes, that is true. It is a difficult and bewildering place. I have seen much here in my 4 years. There are strange things done here in the midnight sun by these men that moil for gold. These Arctic trails, they have their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. And the Northern Lights, they've seen some queer sights. But the queerest they ever did see was a night on the marge of Lake LaBarge when I cremated Sam McGee. Now, Sam McGee was from Tennessee, where the cotton blooms and blows. Why he left his home in the South to roam around the poles, God only knows. He was always cold, but the land of gold seemed to hold him like a spell. Though he'd often say in his homely way, he would sooner live in hell. On a Christmas day, we were mushing our way along the Dawson Trail. Talk of your cold, through the Parker's fold it stabbed like a driven nail. If our eyes we'd close, the lashes froze, till sometimes you couldn't see. It wasn't much fun, but the only one that whimpered was Sam McGee. And that very night, as we lay packed tight in our robes beneath the snow, the dogs were fed, the stars overhead were dancing heel to toe. He turns to me and, Cap, says he, I'll cash in this trip, I guess. And if I do, I'll ask that you won't refuse my last request. He sounded so low I couldn't say no. Then he says with sort of a moan, it's the cursed cold that's got right hold, till I'm chilled clean through to the bone. And it ain't being dead, it's the awful dread of the icy grave that pains. So I'll ask you to swear, come foul or fair, to cremate my last remains. A pal's last need, it's a thing to heed, and I swore I wouldn't fail. We started on at the break of dawn. God, he looked ghastly pale. He crouched on the sleigh, and he raved all day of his home in Tennessee. And before nightfall, a corpse was all that was left of Sam McGee. There wasn't a breath in that land of death. And I hurried on, hard driven, with a corpse half hid that I couldn't get rid because of a promise given. It was lashed to the sleigh, and it seemed to say, you may tax your brawn and your brains, but you promised true, and it's up to you to cremate my last remains. Promise made is a debt unpaid, and the trail has its own stern code. In the days to come, though my lips were dumb and my heart, how I cursed that load on the long, long night by the lone firelight, while those huskies round in a ring held out their woes to the homeless snows. God, how I loathed that thing. And every day that quiet clay seemed to heavy and heavier grow. But on I went, though the dogs were spent and the grub was getting low and the trail was bad, and I felt half mad, but I swore I wouldn't give in. And I would often sing to the hateful thing, and it hearkened with a grin. Then we came to the marge of Lake LaBarge, and a derelict there lay. It was jammed in the ice, and I saw on a trice it was called the Alice May. I looked at it, I thought a bit, I looked at my frozen chum, and here, says I, with a sudden cry, is my crematorium. Some planks I tore from the cabin floor. I lit the boiler fire. With some coal I found that was lying around, I piled the fuel on higher. The flames they soared, the furnace roared, such a blaze you never did see. And I burrowed a hole in the glowing coals and stuffed in Sam McGee. Then I made a hike, for I did not like to hear him sizzle so. The heavens scowled, the huskies howled, the winds began to blow. It was icy cold, but the hot sweat rolled down my face, and I don't know why. And that greasy smoke in an inky cloak went streaking down the sky. I do not know how long in the snow I wrestled with grisly fear. The stars came out, they danced about. Ere again I ventured near. I was sick with dread, but I bravely said, I'll just take a peep inside. I guess he's cooked. And it's time I looked. And the door I opened wide, and there sat Sam, looking cool and calm in the heart of that furnace roar. And he wore a smile you could see a mile. Then he said, please close the door. It's fine in here, but I greatly fear you'll let in the cold in the storm. Since I left Plumtree down in Tennessee, it's the first time I've been warned. There's strange things done in this midnight sun by these men that moil for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. The northern lights, they've seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was that night on the marge of Lake LaBarge when I cremated Sam